Jake and I have finally made it to the Ely Boundary Waters entry point. We made it in 10 hours and 10 minutes. We are feeling good, and we are excited to head to Ely.
Welcome to episode 11 of the Paddle and Portage Podcast. I'm with Joe Fredericks.
I'm here on the dock with M. Baxley at Voyageur Canoe Outfitters at the end of the Gunflint Trail, and there's some stuff happening up here.
We're watching in the distance as the paddle flashes of a canoe approach a few hundred yards away to wrap up this year's record push for the Ely Challenge.
They're hooting.
They're hooting and hollering. I can hear them.
I was up here last night at Voyageur, and the two people who we're going to be hearing from in the episode set out on what's called the Ely Challenge, and that is where you paddle from Sag and here at the end of the Gunflint Trail to Ely, literally going into Ely, and you have to send a postcard and get a receipt from a business, like a Dairy Queen is off in one place, some kind of breakfast thing. And so I came up and met the two paddlers who we're going to be hearing from, and now they're literally paddling up.
Let's jump right into the story of the Ely Challenge.
In life, people tend to get consumed by the concept of how something can be done, without giving much thought, occasionally, to why something should be done. When I first heard about the Boundary Waters paddle that's known as the Ely Challenge, I was guilty of this notion. I became fixated on the how. The idea for the Ely Challenge is simple. You paddle across Saganaga Lake at the end of the Gunflint Trail, you end up on Moose Lake on the Ely side of the Boundary Waters Canoe Area Wilderness. There are no prizes, there's no reward, the rules are basic. There are a few requirements though. The paddlers need to end up at Dairy Queen in Ely. They need to drop at least one postcard in the mail while they're there on the Ely side. Then they eventually catch a ride back to the Fernberg Road to Moose Lake, and then they paddle back across the BWCA, including Knife Lake, back across the border lakes, and you end up back at Sag. On a warm Sunday night at the end of July, two staff members from Voyageur Canoe Outfitters at the end of the Gunflint set out to complete the Ely Challenge. Their names are Brad and Jake. I went up the Gunflint Trail to meet them about an hour before they set out to do the 2024 challenge. After arriving to the end of the trail, I came across Matt Ritter. He's one of the co-owners of Voyageur. Matt actually completed the challenge back in 2014 when he was then a seasonal staff member at the Canoe Outfitter.
So we were running. We had a system, I did it with this gal named Abigail, and we had a system down where I was like, okay, she grabbed the pack and the paddles. Like as soon as we pull up, I'd grab the canoe, and the way back we got turned around once or twice, and we were sprinting on portages, and people were like, what are you doing? We had our story down to like a 15-minute, we're doing a challenge, 24-hour challenge, And on the way there, it was like, oh, we're doing this thing. They're like, we'll move to the side, and we're like, great, and we were just sprinting. But yeah, it's excruciating. People are like, would you ever do it again? I'm like, absolutely not. I would never do that again in my life. Even if I didn't make it, I was like, I would never do that again.
Yeah.
It's like one of those things, you do it, if you make the time hour, that's amazing. Wow. If you don't make it, you still got to give yourself huge credit. Being up for 24 hours and paddling, I think it's 8 portages there, 8 packs, so 16 portages. It's mostly paddling. But, the big ticket is all our staff, at least here now, to get to American Point. Like, it's nobody's business, And once you're on the border, it's easier for sure. But I had never been off of Sag when I did it, and was definitely not a good navigator by any means. Mm-hmm. So a couple wrong turns in the middle of the night and a couple wrong turns midday while we were like starting to see things, you kind of hallucinate a little bit, like I said.
Yeah,
so,
you actually start to hallucinate.
Yeah, you're just like, you're so out of it. You're just so irrational, and you're in a different mindset. Like, you don't really stand up that much in 24 hours. You're sitting down, you're paddling. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, it's not a both stop paddling, take a break, take a drink. It's like one person paddles, the other person takes a drink. One person eats, the other person's paddling, Yeah, it's just go, go, go. And all you can hope is all the stars align, that it's calm and that the moon is out. Everyone tries to do it on a full moon. That's the goal.
This episode of Paddle and Portage is brought to you by Sawtooth Outfitters. They're conveniently located on Highway 61 in Tofty. And whether it's your first trip or you're an experienced voyager, they are there to outfit you with the right gear and knowledge to ensure an unforgettable trip. From their ultralight canoe rentals to their outdoor gear store that's stocked with clothing, gear, maps, and souvenirs, they've got you covered. It's still definitely not too late to plan a 2024 trip. In fact, the fall is just on the doorstep, a perfect time to go paddling. You can check them out at sawtoothoutfitters.com or give them a call today to start planning that trip. I stopped in there earlier this year and bought a new rain jacket from Sarah and the team at Sawtooth. The best rain jacket I've ever had. They're very helpful too when you've got any questions. Check them out, Sawtooth Outfitters in Tofty. After talking with Matt for a few minutes, Brad, one of this year's paddlers, came strolling down a flight of wooden steps. It was just shy of 8 p.m. It was about an hour to go before he was scheduled to start.
What's up, Brad? Good to meet you. You ready to do this thing?
I suppose so. Hands are a little sweaty.
That's all right. Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah.
How you doing?
My name's Bradley Sage, and I'm from Huxley, Iowa. I'm 18 years old.
Did you say your grandpa knew about this or
He knew about it.
but he said it was a thing back then?
Yes.
And he worked at Chickawauk?
He worked at Chickawauk in the 70s.
In the 70s. Okay. So
yeah.
There you go, Joe. It is a long standing something. I don't know. I just have no idea.
Yeah.
Mike and Sue said that
After meeting Brad, I went up
for 3 or
the
4
same
years.
stairs that he had come down, up toward the staff dining room and the hangout area. Up there, I met Jake, one of the other paddlers who would be embarking on the 2024 Ely Challenge.
My name is Jacob Weyrauch. I'm 27 from Kansas City, Missouri, and I've been working at Voyageur for about 2.5 months now. It's been a great 2.5 months, and it's time to make another memory.
What'd you do today in preparation,
Slept.
You did, huh?
I slept in quite a bit. I worked the past 10 days. So this morning was just kind of catching up on some sleep and kind of rest in the body. Then first half of the day after that, I just spent getting all my gear together, getting everything ready, FaceTiming some people, letting them know where the route is and what we're doing. And then since dinner at about 5, just kind of hanging out, just mentally preparing really for the journey ahead.
After talking with Brad and Jake and giving them some space to make final preparations, I started to think with more depth not about how they were planning to do this, but why. I brought it up with Brad and Jake, and then I also met another individual who works at Voyageur.
Hi, my name is Dave Kasparek. I work for Voyageur Canoe Outfitters. I'm a crew member and also the camp host at Trails End Campground.
Dave completed the Ely Challenge last year with another staff member from the outfitter.
I was a cook last year, so I was able to kind of a little bit control what we were going to eat in advance. So yeah, I did a lot of pastas. We did a lot of chickens. We carbo loaded just beforehand and bananas, lots of bananas and blueberries in advance. And we brought a lot of Cliff Bars. We didn't stop and eat. We just had snacks. We had a pack that we just brought a tarp and some cordage with and some snacks. But we didn't stop paddling the entire time. We averaged about 3.5 miles an hour. We did have a lift scheduled for us at the Moose Landing. So that helped out a lot, bringing us back into Ely and then back out to the public landing again at Moose. We left on a full moon, but the Canadian fires were kind of covering up the moon, so we were pitch black when we left the docks. We didn't see daylight until we hit Knife Lake, right at Otter Track and Knife is where we saw the first daylight.
Paddling with headlamps then?
Yeah, but the thing is though, is that we could barely see the horizon. We needed to keep our horizon so we could keep our balance out. It was very difficult to balance, especially when we had some waves out on Sag. Just past Honeymoon Island, we all of a sudden had 3-foot swells come out of nowhere, no wind, coming over the bows in the darkness. And we had to turn off our headlamps just so we can keep the visual on the horizon, because we just saw just a slight difference in color. And that's how we were able to maintain our balance. As soon as we rounded American Point, it calmed down again. It was pretty calm after that until the sun rose, and then we had a headwind from Knife all the way into Moose. But that wind sustained, so on our return we had a tailwind, which really helped us get moving. Between the both of us, Ian knew the beginning and the end really well, and I knew the part in between. Didn't have a GPS. We just used map and compass and our memories, and most of it was just memory. We just knew where to go, so we never got lost. We never slowed down. We figured out how to paddle together really quick. we ironed things out really well, and we were a great team. We knew when to be quiet, and we knew when to talk. It was something that I'm glad we did. I never want to do again. But yeah, it was definitely a thrill. Definitely pushed our mental and physical limits, and it was a pretty amazing thing. So yeah, it was definitely something I'll never forget.
Meanwhile, the minutes started to slide by and the anticipation grew with Voyageur. People started to gather around the docks and the launch point. I talked with Brad and Jake as they set out, vanishing in a flurry. Jake and Brad agreed to record some of their journey for us on the podcast, and after a quick word from our sponsors, we're going to be paddling and portaging in real time during the 2024 Ely Challenge.
This episode of Paddle and Portage is brought to you by Tuscarora Lodge and Canoe Outfitters. Located on Round Lake, Tuscarora is a full-service Boundary Waters outfitter serving the Gunflint Trail entry points. Autumn is a beautiful time to explore the Boundary Waters. Check them out online at TuscaroraCanoe.com or at Tuscarora Canoe on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. Red Bud Suds is on a mission to kick single-use plastic and simplify your routine both at home and in backcountry. Their all-natural 4-in-1 shampoo bars are formulated to be shampoo, conditioner, body, and shave all in one. Check out their Gunflint Peppermint Bar, which gives back 10% to save the Boundary Waters. Made by Adventures in Michigan. Check out redbudsuds.com.
Jake and I just paddled across Otter Track Lake. It is currently 1 in the morning, so we got all the way to here in 4 hours. We're just going to take this 15-rod portage into Knife, and then we're going to make the long shot across.
This is Jake. We are just getting off Knife. At the Knife River, the left side 84-rod portage is non-existent. So we went to the right side, and we are now about to do a 187-rod portage around the Knife River. And then we'll be smooth sailing into Moose, so let's get it. Alrighty, this is Jake. We are leaving Birch Lake, doing a 7-rod portage into Sucker Lake, Red Sucker Bay. Last portage, and then we go through Sucker, Newfound, and bam, we're at Moose. Feeling good, moving good, almost halfway through.
Jake and I have finally made it to the Ely Boundary Waters entry point. We made it in 10 hours and 10 minutes. We are feeling good, and we are excited to head to Ely.
This is Jacob. It is 11:11, funny enough, but we got onto Moose at 8:20. We're already on Knife in less than 3 hours. So, going good. Now it's time to just shoot across this. We only got 3-4 lakes left, so we're feeling good, looking good, performing good.
This is Brad. We are doing the monument portage, but it's more like a swamp. 79 rods, and Jake just about fell up to his stomach in water, but we are making it across.
Hello, podcast listeners. Claire and Dan Shirley from Sawbill Canoe Outfitters here.
Hey everyone, happy August from the edge of the Boundary Waters. We love this time of year at Sawbill. The water is perfect for swimming, the blueberries are ripe, and we get to see some familiar faces of folks who visit us year after year.
Yes, we have so many visitors who feel like family at this point. It's one of the best parts of our job. If you've never been to Sawbill, let me set the scene a little for you. My family has been here since 1957 when my grandparents, Frank and Mary Alice, founded Sawbill. We are located right on the edge of the wilderness on the Sawbill Lake entry point, 24 miles inland from Tofty. I grew up here, and now Dan and I live here full-time, year-round, with our kids and our seasonal crew.
We have deep roots in this area, and we focus exclusively on Boundary Waters canoe trips. We've got a great little general store and gift shop, in addition to our rental program, all curated for the Boundary Waters camper. We also manage a 50-site campground on site. Some people use the campground as a convenient place to stay before they start their canoe trip. Other people spend their whole vacation here and utilize the free day use permits to access the BWCA.
Whether it's your first time camping or you've been canoeing since the 70s, we've got the experience and the knowledge to help you have a successful trip, whatever that means to you. Our long history and lifelong experience in the Sawbill area makes us the definitive source for your Boundary Waters information here on the Tofty District. We also genuinely love what we do, so please don't hesitate to reach out. You can give us a call or shoot us an email. There are no bad questions here. You can follow along with our Life in the Woods on our blog at sawbill.com.
See you around.
This is Mike from Friends of the Boundary Waters. I'm here at Minneapolis Cider Co. pulling the raffle winner for a brand new North Star canoe, undefeated boat. And why we're doing this is it supports our mission to protect the Boundary Waters day in and day out, week in and week out. We've been doing this for almost 50 years, and we plan on doing it for the next 50 years too, keeping this clean water pristine. Support us online. Join in on all the advocacy we're doing this fall, because we got to keep this thing protected for our generation and the next.
Sunday night into Monday, the team at Voyageur kept us informed about the progress of Brad and Jake. They were able to track their movements via a spot device. The great Lord Baxley and I returned to Voyageur Monday night, expecting the duo would be paddling up within the hour, and indeed we were correct. It was a bustling scene Monday night at Voyageur, about 21 hours after Brad and Jake had departed the beach from the outfitter. And then, there they were. Moments after they arrived, Jake and Brad shared their experience answering the question of why someone would do something like the Ely Challenge. And the answer, it seems, rests within the how. What I saw and heard from Brad and Jake is that the how and why are equal parts. In fact, the same motivating force when it comes to the Ely Challenge.
Highest moment, lowest moment.
Lowest moment, probably on Knife. That's just like crawling down a highway. You can see the end 10 miles at the end at. And then the best moment, I don't know. We saw a bear. We had some good paddles in general. We're both pretty scatterbrained. I've been up for about 35 hours. He's been up for about 38. So, best moment, just now, honestly. Pulling in.
Yeah. Where'd you see that bear at?
I was on Otter Track.
Otter Track, yeah.
Yeah. Up on one of the cliffs that had been burned from the fire, so it was just like short green brush. Yeah, right at the beginning of Otter Track.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a cub. Didn't see the mom or anything, but.
How'd it go in Ely? Like, how was that experience?
Oh, it was good. Yeah. Matt's brother, Ryan, picked us up. Very nice, cool guy. He's just like Matt, so it's funny to see, but he picked us up and had a caffeine thing and a Cliff Bar for each of us, and then he was giving us pork tenderloin at the car, which was really good. And then did our runs, DQ, post office, then we went to Holiday. Got probably the best breakfast stuff we've ever had in our life after doing 40 miles. So, yeah, Ely was fun.
Yeah. So what do you think your grandpa would say right now, breaking the record, pulling in here?
He'd probably just say great job. Probably nothing too interesting like that. He'd say great job. That's a tough challenge. I'm proud of you. You know, he had heard of it and he understands the value of it and the difficulty of it. So, you know, I think it's pretty awesome to, you know, have that appreciated by others as well.
Did you guys have any hallucinations or like wigging out or anything like that?
No, just tired.
I'm so tired right now, like it's hard to see straight, but there's no hallucinations at all.
Just exhaustion. Yeah, there's no hallucinations. Just physical exhaustion. Mentally, I feel pretty good. Honestly, I'm just tired. But physically, yeah, that's quite the ordeal.
And what's your plan now?
Food.
Yeah, food and water.
Get some.
I could eat my body weight, I think, right now. So food, water, a cold soda actually sounds so good. Nice. You know, just pigging out a little bit and then probably calling some family members just to let them know, you know, that I'm alive, we're alive, made it, broke a record, which is super cool. Yeah.
And when did you know you were close to the record? Like, walk me through this last.
We kind of had an inkling like the whole time that it was possible, especially because we got to the Ely drop at 10 hours. We finished the first 40 in 10 hours, and then we anticipated an hour and a half, hour 45 in town, and it only took an hour. So we had a little extra time when we got back, and then we cooked through those first through lakes, Moose, Newfound, and Sucker, in like 2 hours. Mm-hmm. So at that point, we were like, all right, we're moving pretty quick. And we had it in our minds, and then once we got to Sag, we were timing things out, and yeah, I think on Sag it was go time. Yeah, because we just wanted to do it. You're going to finish it anyway. If you got time, you might as well give it your all.
Did you hit some weather out there at all?
Yeah, I mean, we had expected some wind at our back on the way back, so we had wind in our face going there, and then we were excited for the wind to our back, but then it turns out it was another bit of headwind, and so, we had headwind the whole way back, and it wasn't exactly the easiest, especially across bigger waters like Knife, Otter Track, and Sag, but, we still made it, and I'm very proud of us to accomplish that. So
that's great.
Yeah.
The record. What was it like at night? How was the moon, and how was the evening?
At first, when we left, we probably got to American Point. We got to American Point in an hour and 10 minutes, and there was no moonlight at that point, and we didn't know if it was going to come out. And then we just saw a little sneak of it on the horizon with the red haze. So it took a minute, but I think was it Knife or Otter Track that it finally
Oh, it was probably Knife.
Knife.
It was full.
Yeah, so probably 4 or 5 hours, and probably 2 or 3 in the morning is when the red went away and some more light came in. But we could see anyway. It wasn't even that bad, honestly, when there was no moon.
Yeah. Did you nod off or want to fall asleep at all?
Yeah, on the ride actually to Ely in the car, I fell asleep on accident. Didn't even pay attention. Sure enough, I slept for 20 minutes or so, and that was the best sleep of my life. Yeah, honestly.
Yeah. All right. How about eating? How'd you guys manage that?
Everything was pretty quick, really, until, we were with Ryan and Ely. But on our own, it was, Cliff Bars, beef jerky, water. That's really it. But, yeah, when Ryan got us, he kind of hooked us up with some stuff. And then we stopped at Holiday. Just got a little breakfast food just to fuel us, but yeah, other than that, just little snack stuff, Cliff Bars, fruit snacks, just stuff to keep you going.
Yeah. I know you were talking about standing up and peeing in the canoe. How'd you guys manage
that did not happen. But we would get to a portage and either do it at the beginning or end. We would carry all our stuff or just throw it to the side, walk in the woods, and just knock it out real quick. So
okay. What about other people? Did you encounter anybody that knew you were doing it or asked or anything?
Yeah, there was actually a lot of people who were just out and about paddling today. And so at the portages to where everything was super condensed, we basically just squeezed past them and, tried to push ourselves in there, be a little bit upfront and personal and just say, hey guys, we're doing the Ely Challenge, trying to get back as fast as possible. And then, maybe they'd ask about it. We just let them know. And, there's a few people who did know about it, but yeah. Hopefully this can spread some light on what it is.
Any other things you want to share with me, guys, or experiences, or just a reflection as you're here on shore?
I can definitely see why everyone that's done it said they would never do it again. But I would advise people, if you want to do it. It's fun. It's a fun way. Him and I were talking about it. I told you before. It's a fun way to challenge yourself, see what you're capable of. I feel like we knocked it out,
Yeah, there's a lot of things that are very difficult that you might be worried about, but in the end, I think things tend to work out for the better. So all the worries that we had, it turned out, they worked out just fine. So we were just fine. And even if we didn't make it in time, we'd still be fine as well. So it was such a wonderful experience, and so I'm very grateful and blessed to have that opportunity.
I'm Cassidy Ritter, and I'm part owner of Voyageur Canoe Outfitters, and I am very impressed. I feel like the past ones that I've watched or been a part of have been, amazing feats as well, but we've certainly never had anyone finish this quickly. So I'm impressed. I'm blown away.
What do you think of the response online of people being like, whoa, this is cool, and this there are a lot of people engaging with this today?
Yeah, we started to post about it I think it was 3 years ago. And people got really into it. They really liked following along, and they, liked getting the updates. And then it became this thing of well, this is fun, and people are enjoying it, so let's keep the tradition alive.
The sun's hidden behind some clouds and has a orangish hue to it, much like the moon did last night for Jake and Brad as they paddled across the Boundary Waters to Ely.
It's a feat that few can claim with pride that they've completed, but I imagine that the real glory is not in the title, but in every moment of the experience, from start to finish.
The small moments, as we heard in the audio diaries that they were so gracious enough to record along their journey. It's so great that we got to hear from them out there on Knife and Mighty Sag, Otter Track, and Moose. These lakes that are iconic for Boundary Waters paddlers and visitors.
It can sometimes feel like the Gunflint Trail is so far from the Fernberg, from Ely, but really we're just paddles away from each other. Basically siblings living in the same home. And this is the best way to really make that real.
Thanks to Voyageur Canoe Outfitters for suggesting that we get to come up here, and we're still up here hanging out recording this right now.
Sitting in a fishing boat. Thanks, Voyageurs, for letting us sit in your fishing boat. It's nice.
Yeah, and people are here loading up their canoes, getting ready for their own adventures, and where it's going to take them into the Boundary Waters or up into Quetico, wherever they might be headed up at this magical place. And it's just so great that these worlds were connected in this story today. Gunflint to Ely, Grand Marais, Ely, all this whole thread of connection that you talked about, and just grateful to be part of it on a summer's day here at the end of the Gunflint Trail.
Thanks, everybody. We love you all, too.
Was that a loon?
It's either a loon or a sick child, and both are possible.
Like to sing when I paddle canoe, feeling, not thinking if the strokes are true. We're gonna get through to the other side. Out in the night, the waves beat the shore. You can hear them pounding, you can hear them roar. Oh, roll me, rock me in my dreams. You can roll me, rock me in my dreams. So I like to sing, I love to dance. I play the fool if I got the chance. All around the campfire light, all around the campfire light, all round, all round, all round the campfire light.